What's going on, gents? Welcome back to The Married Man. I'm Brian Bandas. Happy Friday. Hey, before we jump in real quick, wanted to mention to you that I'm excited to say we're 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks away from launching the podcast, getting that all finished up, and it's about ready to go. I'm really excited about it. It's going to come out once a week. It'll be pretty short, 10, 15 minutes a week that you can listen to in your car or on a run or something like that. But really excited about that, and we're getting really close, so I will keep you posted. This week we're talking about expectations, and I don't know if you read the email, but basically I was reading an article and the writer was talking about training for an ultra marathon, right? And I'm sort of trying to work up toward that myself. I'm doing a lot of running and trying to hit some longer distances. And I've been watching these videos about these guys and girls running these 50 and 100 mile ultra marathons. There's some 240s as well, which is just total insanity. So they're running these 100-mile ultra marathons, and the article is talking about the role that expectations play, and that a lot of times when people do not finish, it has to do as much with their expectations as it does with maybe their fitness or preparation. So what she meant by that is, people go into the race envisioning it playing out a certain way. And here's what a successful race looks like. I'm going to do this. I'm going to run at this pace. I'm going to get to this, rest station by this time. And then they get out there and it rains, or their body isn't responding the way they expected, or the climbs are harder than they thought, or they end up starting to feel dehydrated when they weren't expecting to need to drink water at a certain time or whatever. So the race starts to play out differently than they expected. And what she talked about is that runners who have this expectation and don't have this flexibility, they get married to this plan that they had in their mind, and they sort of just, rather than reacting or responding to the race as it plays out, they just try and power through. And regardless of how hard the climbs are and my legs are feeling worse than I expected, screw it, I still got to hit these benchmarks because this is how the race was going to go. And that ends up leading to them burning out and not finishing the race. In marriage, I've experienced a similar thing. And what brought this whole thing to mind was a couple days ago, me sort of having a thought of, oh, I wish my wife did this. I wish she was more like this. I wish she would treat me more like this. It wasn't a big, terrible, awful thing, but it was something where I went, oh, okay, this isn't exactly how I envisioned like this beautiful, big fairy tale relationship that we all thought marriage was going to be, right? I say that jokingly. So I realized that if I can either have flexibility and go, no, there's still the opportunity for a successful race here, right? There's still the opportunity for a rich marriage. It just may not be like I envisioned it when I started envisioning my marriage when I was 20 or whatever. Yeah, shocker that things haven't played out exactly how I envisioned them, before I was even married. So the thing I wanted to encourage you guys with is, and what she said was the solution, was runners who came into it with a plan, and then they had this flexibility that said, I know what I can accomplish. I know I can finish. I may just have to adjust how I accomplish that. And so for me, what's unrealistic is to start to try and force myself or my wife or our marriage as it exists now into some box, some preconceived notion that I had in my mind, and going, no, it has to be like this, when it is not naturally like that. What's healthier and what's available to me is to go, man, I know where I'm going. I know I'm going to get to that finish line. But between now and then, I'm going to have to make some adjustments, and this race may look a little different than I expected. The way I relate to my wife may look a little different. Some of the external factors we run into, whether it's work, children, whatever, illness, those may look different and change the way we relate. And so my encouragement to you is, don't be married to it going a certain way, pun intended. Don't be so tied to everything looking this certain way that you envision. Be tied to the outcome, which is, I'm going to continue to fight, continue to grow, and be the kind of husband that my wife deserves for me to be. And I'm going to continue to invest in this marriage. I know I can get to the finish line. It may look a little different than I expected, but I know that I can get there. That's my encouragement to you guys. I hope it's helpful. Really excited 2 weeks from now, maybe 3, but hopefully 2 weeks from now, to launch that podcast. I'll be sure and tell you about it. Guys, if you can think of a friend, brother, co-worker, whoever that you're close to that you think would be impacted by the message of the married man and the idea of becoming a warrior husband for your family, please share this video. If whoever comes to mind, share this with them and invite them into the group. All right, have a great week.